have determined, after just a little bit of thought, a little bit more thought, about the 2021 draft class, it is one of the worst quarterbacking class, not just the first round. The entire class may be one of the worst. One of the worst in the history of football. Like, Michael, everybody in the class, so those 5 quarterbacks in the first round, 4 of them are either on or about to be on their second teams. 4 of the 5 in the first round. Then, we talk about the 5, you know who the 6th quarterback taken in that draft was? Kellen Mond.
Refresh my memory. Oh, wow.
Kellen Mond. Out of football. He's out of football already. 1 year, one and done. Out of football. So you talk about 6 quarterbacks taken, and the number 1 guy, I mean, as you say, lowest of keys or highest of keys, songs in the key of Trevor Lawrence's life. If you look at this, he has been sacked nearly 100 times in 3 seasons. And that's the best. That's the best of the best. He's supposed to be some generational prospect, and look at him. He's a can't miss, and look at the size and the arm strength, and make all the cliches that we say about great quarterbacks every year, including this year. So, are you too high on Justin Fields? Yes, based on the sample size, based on the batch that we got that he was a part of. Yeah, you're probably too high.
Okay. All right, so the 21 draft quarterback class is just one big cautionary tale. Mac Jones' life came full circle, and it came at him fast. He is going back to Jacksonville, where he's from, and not in the way that he always dreamed of. He's going back as a backup, which is insane. I can still remember him waddling down the stage on draft night, and everybody being like, if that ain't a Patriot, I don't know what is. I can still remember, this. I can still remember speculation about him being Kyle Shanahan's guy at 3 instead of Trey Lance. It's just life came at him fast. Okay, but let me say this though, and this is coming from a person who loves the draft more than just about anything. If you look at those 5 guys, Trevor Lawrence was made out the best, number 1 overall, but he had to endure Urban Meyer. Urban Meyer damn near ruined him out the gate. Number 2, Zach Wilson went to the Jets. I'll leave that there. I'm not saying he got, well, I'm not going to leave it there. Zach Wilson got his own problems, his own struggles, his own limitations. Maybe he was overhyped, but he went to the Jets. Okay, it's typically where quarterback careers go to die. If they don't go to New York to die, they go to Chicago to die. Justin Fields went to Chicago. And
you skipped over number 3.
No, I know. I'm just 2 organizations that have struggled. I'm getting there, but I'm saying I don't think you can fairly say that Chicago has always done right by Justin Fields. Okay. That's right. Number 3, Trey Lance. Probably shouldn't have been traded up 4 in the first place. I beg your pardon. But his situation that he landed in was not conducive to a quarterback that needed as much development as he did coming out of college. They needed a guy to step in and be an upgrade over a guy that had taken him to a Super Bowl, and I believe a conference championship game as well. They needed him to come in and be able to play right away, as most of these young guys are expected to do. And nobody was more ill-equipped to do that than a guy coming out of the school he came out of with North Dakota State, through COVID, having barely played, then getting hurt as much as he did. Now, I don't believe that Trey Lance could play, but did he ever get a real chance to show it? And who's the last one I mentioned? Oh, and then Mac Jones. And then Mac Jones, we thought, went to a great situation. He went to New England. He's going to play with the greatest coach. He went to played with the greatest coach in NFL history. And he had Josh McDaniels for a second.
Yeah.
And then Bill Belichick made a decision that has nothing to do with Mac Jones, that is beyond Mac Jones' control, in putting Joe Judge and Matt Patricia in charge of the offense, he never recovered. So it's not only a cautionary tale, but it's honestly evidence, and we just focused on quarterbacks, it's evidence for why people say the draft is un-American. Or the draft should not be an NFL draft. And I love the NFL draft. But so much of it is out of these guys' control, especially quarterbacks who are going to teams who need quarterbacks and oftentimes going to shitty situations. Man, if I was a quarterback, if I was a top quarterback and I went to the combine and I was on a stage, I'd be like, yo, I just hope I slide to 24. I hope I slide to 32. Man, you want to go number one? Nope. Not me.
Nope,
I do not want to go number one. I mean, Caleb Williams was right that the Bears are a better team than their number one overall pick would suggest, because obviously they have Carolinas. But as Bryce Young out there worked out last year, you know, C.J. Stroud might be an outlier to go in that situation and turn it around the way that he did. Anthony Richardson, I mean, for what we saw so far, so good. But it's like these 5 quarterbacks, it's not all their fault that 4 of them are failures and another one has been up and down.
Okay.
It's not all their fault. Okay. It's never all their fault. Because wait for it. I ain't said it in 2 weeks. They're all system quarterbacks. Okay? They're all system quarterbacks. It's not all their fault. Hey. Maybe they suck. Maybe they don't. I don't know.
No, they probably suck, though. They probably suck, even though both things can be true. Okay? It's not all their fault.
Okay. I'll meet you in the middle. Maybe they're not good enough to transcend their circumstances. How about that?
Yes.
There you go.
That's what I'm looking for. Exactly.
They're not transcendent.
That's what I'm looking for. Because now we've gone too far. I know what era I live in. See, I'm in the hybrid. I wasn't raised. I was raised in both. I was raised in the old school. Hey, you just got to figure it out. And then I'm a product of the new school too. So I understand all the, hey, everybody's got to be comfortable. I get the 3-day or 2-day work weeks. I get that. I'm all on board with that, okay? Like this whole thing, employees have to have things. They have to, they don't want to feel like they're working for you. It's a partnership. And let's have some games at work. And let's have some snacks. And let's have some long break times. And all this stuff. This is good. All right? I understand it. But the bottom line is this. We've gone too far. We're saying, oh, they need this. I gotta have the right head coach, and I gotta have the right ownership group, and I gotta have the right OC, and my offensive line's gotta be right, and I gotta have a good tight end. So, you know, just in case I run into trouble, I gotta have somebody in the middle of the field. It ain't always gonna be like that.
No, it's not.
We talk about great quarterbacks.
It's not always be perfect. Yeah.
Yeah. We're talking about great quarterbacks. And I know over the eras, you look at some quarterback situations and they didn't have a lot. Whether it's Dan Marino going to the Dolphins. Oh, yeah, Don Shula is known for developing quarterbacks. He wasn't. You talk about Brett Favre going to Green Bay. Before Green Bay was known for quarterbacks, Brett Favre was there. And he thrived when he didn't have a lot around him.
What do you mean he didn't have a lot around him? Bullshit. Wait a minute. No, that's not the revisionist history. He had plenty around him in Green Bay.
When he
got to
first
Green
went
Bay?
there.
When he first went there, he went there with Reggie White. Like Reggie White, they went there the same year, if I'm not mistaken. Like, wasn't it 92?
I'm talking about offensively.
Offensively, he had one of the greatest coaching staffs of all time. Like, we look at all the head coaches who've come from that scheme. Didn't he have Sterling Sharp when he first went there?
So this is what we need, though. Okay. All right, maybe Brett Favre's not.
It's the most important position. Yeah, probably not. Right. That's okay. It's okay. Your overall point is valid. Go ahead.
But we have to. I got to make sure. So before I draft you, I got to not check like 5 boxes. I got to check 15 boxes just to make sure you have success.
No, you don't have to check 15 boxes, but you do have to set them up for success. It's the most important position, but it's also the most dependent position. It's the most dependent position.
Important position.
That don't make them soft.
It's the most dependent position, and it's also the most resilient position. You've got to be able to figure it out sometimes when people around you aren't the best. When the situation is not great, you still have to be able to figure something out.
Yeah, but Michael, But Michael, the great ones, few and far between do they have to figure it out to the level of the guys that go through dysfunctional organizations. There's a reason why most of the quarterbacks who are in the QB career graveyard, a lot of them have been through the same teams. It's the same teams over and over, with few exception of the ones that are missing. It's the Chicago QBs, it's the Jets QBs, it's the Browns QBs. It's the same organizations historically that have not supported quarterbacks properly. The same typically dysfunctional organizations with few exceptions. But here's what I do want to get to though, if you don't mind.
All right, go ahead.
I do want to be optimistic. There is hope. There is hope. Because it wasn't that long ago, because I was trying to think of like recent drafts, because every time we talk, we hype up all these quarterbacks, we got to remind ourselves, a couple of these dudes going to be on a different team in a couple of years. Because there's a stat flying around about top 5 quarterbacks and how many have changed teams. Okay, so 2018, obviously, remember that was the one where Lamar went 32nd, okay? Yep. And he was the last quarterback taken, obviously, in the first round.
And Baker went first.
Baker went first. In between, you had Josh Rosen, Josh Allen 7, Sam Darnold 3rd to the Jets, Sam Darnold, Josh Allen, Josh Rosen in the middle, okay? Josh Allen had great coaching. They got him Stephon Diggs, excuse me. All right, Saquon Barkley was the second pick in that draft. All right, so Baker Mayfield. It wasn't that long ago where, you know, I was pushing from here, but the Browns certainly were. I was kicking and pushing Baker Mayfield to the curb and out the door to make room for Deshaun Watson. Okay, where I was Team Odell in that feud with Baker Mayfield, where I was like, this is me talking. Look, I will tell you when I'm right now. I'll tell you when I'm wrong. Baker ain't that good. Baker ain't all that. You know, Baker ain't that good, right? I said I was not a Baker guy, okay? Until I was at that game where he joined the Rams a day or two earlier and came in and beat the Raiders on Thursday Night Football. I was like, this dude, awesome. Man, I see why people love the dude.
Awesome game and a miserable season.
Okay.
It was an awesome game.
He passes through, after he leaves Cleveland, he goes to Carolina, okay, right? That was the next stop, was Carolina.
That's right. It was
Didn't
Carolina.
work out there.
And they cut him.
They cut him, okay? Because Carolina certainly got their shit together these days, right? He goes to Carolina. He goes to the Rams for a cup of coffee with Sean McVay, okay? Then he goes to the Bucs, and what did we say last year because of the, wait for it, the supporting cast that he was inheriting from Tom Brady, like that, like, oh, wait a minute. He could be this year's Geno Smith, who also passed through the Jets and had to go through a sojourn until he ended up, you know, hitting his stride in Seattle. He could be this year's Geno Smith. And sure enough, Baker Mayfield, congratulations, my brother, getting his $100 million bag. Well-deserved, well-earned. This dude was running scout team defensive end in Carolina on occasion, just for shits and gigs. But look at him now, right? So there's him. So now, the next Geno Smith, and ironically, coincidentally, oh, by the way, shout out to Mike Evans. Listen to the woman. Great job. Kirk Cousins moving with his wife's family. Mike Evans, listen to the woman.
Hey, thank you for watching Brother from Another. If you haven't hit that subscribe button, go ahead and do that now. Don't forget, you can catch us 3 to 4 weekdays on PeacockTV.com and on Sirius XM Channel 85.